Guys, it's a pleasure to be on the call. My name is Randy Hooker. I've been in legal skill for about 12 years, been working the CDL market along with the other opportunities that we have in network marketing and group arena. So been in pushing in CDL for about the last nearly 2 years now, and we earned the 50,000 ring. I'm one of the Emerald Elites, and then we've got personal memberships over 1,000. So it's a pleasure to be on the call, and if there's anything that I can ever do, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Robert, I noticed that John Hoffman's on. We may want to let him introduce himself.
Thank you, Randy, for taking up for me. I didn't know my camera was still on, but I had to take that call. Mr. Dunbar, I apologize. I was trying to tell you. So Randy had my back, though. Thank you, Randy. But I'm Sherranda Ivey. I'm the CDLP state trainer for Georgia. I've been in the business for almost 8 years. Been the CDLP trainer. This is my first year as trainer, recognized this year as the #1 field trainer. But just love this space. I do work all areas of the business, but about 2 years ago, definitely became really focused on this industry and just became a student of it. Just excited about the industry. It's been a great year, even in a pandemic. Transportation might have slowed up, but it never stopped. So, you know, so it's just something to remember while you're playing in this space. I am a Solutions Sapphire Associate, Special Forces as well on the small biz sector. And I've wrote over 1,000. I got my personal production achievement app award this year. And like I said, you know, just excited. These guys, Mr. Dunbar, Lamar, Chris, and all the other trainers really taught me this platform, and it's just really good to be able to cross sell and do groups. So if you see me posting a lot about group, you really need to make sure you're group certified, because in this space, your owner operators are business owners, and that's where you can open your groups, cross sell, and maximize the compensation plan. So just keep that in mind. I like to throw that in you guys' face because people forget that we can write a lot of business plans over in this space. I also host accountability call on Thursday nights, and you're welcome to come to that call as well. It's more as a mastermind. Those individuals that come to that call are working in that space, and so they come and we all talk about things that are working, things that they're having problems with. So with that, Mr. Dunbar, not mean take so long, but definitely just wanted to share that. So over to you, or Mr. Hoffman.
Well, good evening, everybody.
Somebody got your TV on. If you're unmuted, can you turn down your TV?
I'm trying to see who that is. I don't see anybody unmuted though.
Randy, you got your TV on at your house? Okay.
Might be my spouse. Let me check.
Really, you over there watching the Jeffersons, man, while we on the call?
No, that's John Hoffman watching Fred Sanford. John, turn your TV down. I'm gonna turn it over to Mr. John Hoffman, guys. He's our CDLP trainer over in California. So I'm gonna turn it over to John Hoffman.
Yeah, that was my spouse listening to the Spanish Zoom call today in LegalShield, so it kind of interfered with my call here.
Oh, gotcha.
Oh.
Yeah, we're a family involved in this venture. So, yeah, my name is John Hoffman. I'm the California state trainer. I'm actually happy to be on this call tonight because I'm usually I'm on the road on the way back from being out in the field. I'm aggressively in the field lately because the trucking industry is an essential business, and I've had quite a bit of success the last 60 days, and opening up probably half a dozen groups with about a total of about 1,000 drivers altogether. and trying to set them up so that when this epidemic is over, we're going to hit the road running, with these groups that we've been actively enrolling or getting the authorization form done. So it's been fun right now the last couple of months, and just can't be afraid of what's out there. Just got to be careful. And I work with a couple of team players that I work with in the field. Matter of fact, I take some of Sherranda's field trainer status away, but as a field trainer of the month for last month. So sorry about that, Sherranda.
I'm of the year.
Oh, but I'm
You
building for there. So.
Good stuff. Mr. Dunbar too. So awesome, John.
Good.
Yep.
All right, I'll mute myself.
Yep, I heard that the other day. Congratulations on that. And then we forgot to recognize Mr. Dunbar too. I think he's been in the top list of field trainers these last couple of months as well. So kudos to him as well. He don't like to give himself any accolades, but I tell all his business. So over to you, Mr. Dunbar.
Yeah. Supposed to be my best friend, setting me up. That's okay. So I appreciate all the other trainers as well. I'm gonna be real quick. Been in the business 11 years, been a trainer for LegalShield for about 6 years, been a CDLP trainer for a little bit over 2 years. I do work all ends of the business. I am Sapphire in Business Solutions, 100K ring earner, and I have 250K ring earners on my team. So I do work every area of LegalShield. And I'm not gonna tell you that you should, but I would highly suggest that you take advantage of everything that LegalShield has to offer. So I'll leave it like that. I enjoy the CDLP transportation space because there's not a lot of LegalShield people in that space, and there's not a lot of people in the industry offering a product like we offer. And for those that are saying, well, who is in the industry? There is a new CDLP comparison sheet back in the LS Engage resources area. So you can find out who the competition is and how we compare to them with that comparison sheet. And if you missed that training that we did on it about 5 weeks ago, you can go back and look at the Zoom that we did by just going to the YouTube page. Go to my YouTube page, and you'll scroll down to the LegalShield CDLP Zoom coaching call, and you will see where we go over it. You'll see it in the title that we go over the CDLP comparison form, and it's a way for you to take advantage of knowing how we went over it. So again, we're going to be talking about the DM. And for those that don't know what DM means, that's decision maker. Decision maker when it comes to CDL, we're going to talk about different angles and different things and how to find out who the decision maker is and all those different things. You're going to hear from the different trainers talking about it. But first, I'm going to pose a couple of scenarios. One, I'm going to bring in Mr. Edward from South Florida, and then I'm going to bring in Bob Frazier. And Bob Frazier, I didn't tell Bob Frazier I was going to call on him, but I know he's probably somewhere hanging around and he's willing to talk. So Bob Frazier, if you're going to be available, just text me and let me know, and I'll call on you as well after I call on Edward. And we're going to talk to Edward, ask him about his scenario, and the trainers are going to chime in on some things that they would have done if it happened to them. And it gives you an opportunity to find out what you can do if this ever happens with you as well. So Mr. Edward, if you can unmute yourself, let me know you're there.
Yes, sir, I'm here.
All right, fantastic. So if you can quickly give us your background, and if you give us your background, let us know what happened with the decision maker, the young lady that you called, and she said that she was the decision maker, and then what she said, what you said back, and then we'll turn it over to the trainers to find out how you could have approached that situation maybe differently, or whether what you did was totally fine, and how we can make the best out of every experience when it comes to making those calls, especially during this pandemic. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to you.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good evening, everyone. My name is Edward Singleton, and I've been in the network marketing for the last 10 years, but I've just got into the CDL space. And by being on these calls and referring back to the videos and just educate myself more and more, because I found out that it takes my education in this arena. So the calls, as well as referring back to the videos, I've been following the strips that Mr. Lamar recommended. So I've just graduated and started making my first calls last week into the arena. And I was very proud, but I ended up getting 2 appointments, at least 1 appointment. And Mr. Dunbar helped me with that today somewhat. But one of my calls I did to a trucking company here in South Florida, in the Florida arena. And upon making this call, I did the strip and asked to speak with the person in charge that handles the D.O.T. and moving violations arena. And the young lady said, that would be me. Well, I listened to her and I say, well, I have to speak to your service that we offer to help your drivers in taking care of those tickets and moving violations.
Tickets.
Yes. And she mentioned to a point where he said, well, that would be me. And our drivers handle those themselves. So at that point, I was stuck to a point. She was very nice. She wasn't arrogant or anything, very nice. And I was really stuck at that point because I had a decision maker on the call and I didn't realize it. So that's the spot where I'm stuck at. More or less want to get some advice on what I should have gone, which direction I should have taken. Back to you, Mr. Dunbar.
Can I go first?
All right, fantastic. Absolutely. Sherranda, you can go first, ladies first. Sherranda, you go ahead and hit it, and then you can turn it over to Randy and turn it over to Mr. Hoffman, and I'll hit it last if I felt like some of the stuff y'all said, I'll, if there's anything different, I'll say something. If not, I'll leave it alone. So go ahead. The floor is yours.
Okay. Well, congratulations. Is it Mr. Edwards? Yeah. Mr. Edwards, Mr. Singleton.
Thank you.
Congratulations for taking action. So that's amazing. The phone is, yeah, that's amazing. So congratulations on that. My first question is, with that company, how many drivers was it?
Okay, on that company.
While you look up that, I'll say this. I'll ask this question. When making the calls, who did you think you were going to get?
I was thinking I would get a safety manager in that respect.
Okay, so knowing that you thought you were going to get the safety manager, now tell me how many drivers were for that company.
With that particular company, it was 15 drivers.
Okay, awesome. This is what I found, Edward, because that's my sweet spot. That's probably when I'm looking for companies, that's probably how as I go on, when I'm really focused on making the dials. With that low number of 15, most of the time the number that you get is going to be the owner. 15 drivers, they may have somebody that is maybe running operations, maybe they're not there as much, but for the most part, if you research that company, I don't know if you got the number out of Safer, but 15 drivers, you're normally going to get the owner. That's normally who you're going to talk to. And with me personally, with 15 drivers, I try to find out who that owner is, because I feel like I'm going to talk to the owner. So, and I feel more postured up when I can ask for Edward versus the person who handles the violation, because I normally know that the person who's going to answer that phone is the owner. So knowing that, when you're making dials, you got to know, and with that low number, most likely you're going to be talking to the decision maker. They're a small company. Like I say, they may have somebody running operations, and they probably, even if she had somebody running supposedly safety, she probably not even calling him the safety manager. You know what I'm saying? So, and I know you're new to it, so that's just my tip, because that is my sweet spot. Companies below 20 or below, you're normally, if you look in Safer and you see a number, it's normally the owner's number. That's who's going to normally answer that. And another thing, you always got to be on your toes, because at the end of the day, you might have a chill owner and he might answer the call and he got 100 drivers. He might just be that guy. So you just always got to be prepared. Okay. So yeah, I mean, just always be, I mean, just always think that maybe the person who answered phone is going to be the decision maker, because ultimately we always looking for the decision maker, right? That's who we always looking for. So we got to assume that. But 15, that around 15, 20 below, yeah, if you, especially if you look and safer, that number is normally going to go to the owner. So, but you don't have to, you know, say, hey, you know, like it was a female and I see Jerice here on the phone. You don't have to say, hey, you know, if you're not comfortable saying, hey, Jerice, how you doing? Because I'm comfortable saying that. It makes me more comfortable saying that because I've done the research. And if I know somewhere out there in Google land or however I find the owner's name, if it's Jerice, I'm more postured by saying, hey, Jerice, how are you today? Versus, hey, may I speak to Jerice? If that female answer phone and I done did my research and it says it's Jerice, I'm gonna assume I'm talking to Jerice. Because if it's not Jerice and if it's a supposedly gatekeeper, that gatekeeper is thinking, oh, she know Jerice. Oh, she know the owner. You know what I'm saying? It just brings more credibility to me because I'm not fishing. That makes sense?
Okay.
So, so that's my take on it. Just always be prepared to think that you're gonna talk to the decision maker, because ultimately that's who we're looking for. And a company with that small number, I found, if you got that number out of Safer, and or even Google, with a company that small, normally you're gonna talk to the owner. That's just what I found.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
You're welcome. So over to you, Randy.
Well, Edward, let me ask you, said that whenever she answered, you asked for who done the DOT and CSA point violations?
Yes, sir.
Okay. At that point, what I've found, and this is just what I do, is I'll say, I'll go ahead with a little bit more of a script, or basically the way I handle whenever I find that decision maker as such, like we're talking about, the person that says they handle that. I say, if there's a way that I could show you that we could lower your insurance, help you with your CSA points, and be able to provide some relief in that area to keep your insurance high and your company stats, safety stats in line, would that be worth a few minutes of your time? And what you're doing there is you're setting up the opportunity to find out if now is a good time, or if I need to set up an appointment with you, or if I need to set up a Zoom with you, or what have you. That's the way I handle that. And if then it depends on what they say. They say, well, yeah, that'd be great. Is now a good time to talk, or would you prefer a Zoom, or me getting back with you at a later time? And the reason that I do that is because I want the time to go over our program fully, because if I just say, if I could help you with your tickets, would you be interested? You know, that not necessarily is going to get enough information to them for them to be able to truly make that decision, in my mind. And so therefore, that's the reason that I'm wanting a little bit more time with them. And I want to make sure that now is a good time to do it, because she may have 3 drivers standing in her office, or there may be a lot of stuff going on, and she'll blow you off quicker that way than she will if she's given you the time that you need to visit. I don't know if that helps, but that would be my take on it. John, what about you?
Let me go back first, though. Let me go back, Randy, before you go over to John. When, you know, after establishing that she was the decision maker, and, you know, you talked about the tickets, and again, I know you're new to it, Edward, so don't, you know, You know, don't take this the wrong way. You know, it's the language of the tickets too. You know, we don't, you know, that's one thing Lamar taught us, you know, the citations, helping with the citations. But when she said that her drivers handle that, normally I would ask more questions, because that lets me know with her saying that she doesn't understand that what they do is affecting her business. You know what I'm saying? She's kind of like leaving it to chance with them. So now I see that I'm at a point where I need to educate this owner. So I might ask her, you know, some more questions. And, you know, and those questions could go anywhere, you know, like, you know, I would say, you know, ma'am, you know, that's great that, you know, your drivers are taking the responsibility of protecting their commercial license, because that's how they eat. But I'm, do you, you know, I'm just trying to make sure you realize that even if they get the citations, that when they do get these citations, depending on how they're handling those, it's affecting your company. So it goes back to what Randy talked about, the, you know, going into the insurance rates and things like that. So a lot of times it comes to education and just asking a lot of questions, because just with her saying that, immediately I know that she's not well educated on the fact of how how her business is being impacted by these citations that she's leaving it a chance for her drivers to take care of. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, because she, you know, like I say, she that caught me off guard, as her being a decision maker right then. So instead of me being locked and loaded, I was totally thrown off. So
yeah, I get it. I mean, I get it. You know, but yeah, so like I say, you know, I always have, when you make the dials, be prepared that at the end of the day, when we're making dials or when we're walking in, we're really looking for the person who makes the decision, which is the, you know, the decision maker. So yeah, so even getting past that, her being the decision maker, when Randy talked about, you know, he's trying to get that appointment. Okay, now she's the decision maker, you know that. So yeah, you have to think about, when I make this call, what is it that I want my outcome to be before I even dial this number.
right.
Yeah.
Right.
So, but you know, but like I said about those tickets, yeah, with her responding to that, she's not educated on how the business portion works, on how her drivers are affecting her bottom line.
Okay.
So that's what we are, consultants, and so that's when we go into that consulting mode to educate her.
Okay. All right.
If that helps.
So what's the window time I have in making and going through the conversation with 30 seconds or less, or?
Well, I mean, you immediately found out that she was the decision maker. I guess you did the generic thing, and she said that she was that person.
Okay.
So you already got her attention, because you said, you know, she already told you she was that person. So now, you know, and then you said about the tickets. I mean, you got her there. She's conversating with you. She hadn't hung up on you. That's good. You know, so you have a little room there to have some conversation. So if I could give you a tip, before you make the call, you need to decide what is it that you want to gain from the call when you make the call. Because making the call, I mean, you got to know the decision maker is going to be in that process, whether they picked up the phone or not. So you got to be prepared that they might pick up the phone. So if they do, what's your next move? You know what I'm saying? So it's I think it was got to be more preparation of what you're looking for. Because tell us what you were looking for when you made the dial. How did you think it was gonna go?
I was looking to make an appointment. That was my outcome right there, to make some kind of appointment.
And that's what Randy was talking about.
Yes, to move the process.
Yeah. So you had the decision maker. You had the person on the phone that you needed to make that appointment with. So like he said, you know, like if she would have said that to me, I probably would have said, great, awesome, just the person I needed. You know, just trying to break the ice. You know, I would have said, great. Your decision, you know, that's you, great. Say, I would like to calendar some time with you so I can share with you how, you know, we can help, you know, reduce those CSA points and fight those DOT violations that your drivers get. And she still probably would have said, hey, they take care of that themselves. Say, oh, okay, great. Absolutely. They're taking advantage. They're protecting themselves because that's how they're eat. I get that. Say, but I would, like Randy said, you know, how he wanted to take the time just to share with her how, you know, you show how to reduce the CSA points and help reduce her insurance rates. Because like I said, with her saying that and thought she was throwing you off, she's not educated to know that how what they're doing is affecting her bottom line. So she needs education.
Okay. So
Yeah.
she was very nice. She wasn't rude or anything. So shall I consider circling around back at her in another week or next month?
Yeah, say, hey, I know that you said that your drivers actually pay. You actually leave that for your driver, say, but I would like to, you know, calendar some time with you to share with you how maybe, you know, even if I could just share with the drivers the program that I have, because when I help your drivers, I'm helping your bottom line. I'm helping you to show you how you can reduce your insurance rates. You know, maybe you're having problems with your insurance rates with the violations that's riding on your report. I just like some time with you to share with you how we can help that by helping your drivers. Still, her drivers still can pay for it. You just need to get her buy-in to allow you to talk to the drivers. That's all.
Thank you.
Yep. John?
Right, Edward. Yeah, right, Edward. A lot of times you can find out what you're looking for by asking questions of the person you're talking to. You might ask, are they going through an audit right now? And analyzing their reports as far as what kind of tickets they're getting, you might see that maybe some of the drivers have had success in court already, whether it's from our membership or maybe someone else's membership, or maybe the driver's going to court themselves. I always, you know, look for those hints, but I always want to go in with a name, and I know LegalShield breaches Reference USA, but I found Reference USA not to be kind to transportation companies as far as information, but I use a service called BuzzFile, which is a free service also too. And they have a pay service also, but the free service is adequate, and you're going to find the name of an owner. You're also going to find names of officers in the companies, and if you come across a company that might have paid a fine, you know, the person I want to talk to is the person that wrote that check. You know, that was a pain point for them, and I'm going to go in and knowing what they're dealing with ahead of time before I just call blindly. Of course, on the phone is not my strength. I would rather walk in, but even I have bad days. I got thrown out of a company this week, but I show in the front door because I went in the back door, and also another company called me off guard because they said they wanted to pay for all the drivers, 100 drivers, and they thought it was too expensive. And I didn't have an immediate comeback, but I do now, because after I reflected on it, you always want to go back. You never want to throw those leads away. And it's not always the first call you're going to get the decision also too. It might take 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 calls, but you always want to try and get the next step in the process when you talk to whoever you're talking to. And if they say that they're the decision maker, you just say, okay, well, what's the next step? What can I send you? And usually when I send them something, it's always the orange sheet that Ellen Roman talks about. I don't send them anything LegalShield identified. I'll just send them something from the FMCSA. And then I'll follow up. I'll say, well, when can I follow up? And I always just put them on a drip system, because you're just trying to create and make a partnership with these people that have these companies. You want to become their friend. You want to become their confidant. You want to bring them information that's useful to them. And the more valuable you become to them, that's when the door starts slowly opening up. It hardly is ever the first time when you make a call where you get in the front door and get all the answers you're looking for and get that group authorization signed.
Okay, thanks, John. What was that bus file you said, John?
Yes, buzzfile.com, buzzfile.com.
Okay,
And
thank you,
I
John.
found they'll sniff out DBAs. If you put in a name of company, it'll pull it out if it's operating under a DBA or Reverend USA just isn't always friendly to transportation companies. I found it doesn't always give me what I'm looking for, but BuzzFile seems to be more friendly for what I'm using it for. But I'll spend more time doing my background check on the company before I call them. I'll know exactly what the problems are and the person I want to talk to. I start with the owner, work my way down. Unless it's a large company, then I know it's going to have to be a safety manager. And again, if they got fined, I'm going to ask for the person that wrote that check, because that was the person who's going to really want to talk to me.
Okay, thank you guys. You've been very helpful. I appreciate it.
Yeah, I think more preparation would be great. I mean, it's great you're dialing, but just, you got to know what, what's your outcome, what's your goal when you make that dial. And you got to know that, the owner or the decision maker might be the one to answer the phone. So, what is your next move? Like, what is your next move? And like you say, you're right. You want to make the appointment like Randy talked about, John gave some great tips there. Again, knowing who you're gonna ask for kind of puts you, because if you knew that it was gonna be Kim, if you looked up in BuzzFile and saw, the owner was, Kim Davis or whatever. So this girl, who, if it was a girl, you now your ears are like, dee, 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 dee. This might be the owner, you just never know, right? You be more aware. So it kind of brings a little bit more posture, a little bit more confidence, knowing, like he said, the name. I'm big. I want to know a name. I want to drop a name. But however, just being more prepared on what you want your outcome. And then you said you wanted to set an appointment, but having some more conversation, just trying to dig a little bit more, I think would have made you feel a little bit better. And I would call it back though, like you said, go back around, try it again.
Okay,
And yeah, and John made a great point. I'm froze up here. I can't move this, but I know Clarence is on the call, Dunbar, and I'll just bounce off what John Hoffman just said about he always sends the paperwork about the the CSA points where the adjudication form from FMCSA is what he's talking about. Clarence is on the call, and that's something Clarence is big on. He makes a lot of dials, but if they ask him to send anything, he sends things like that. Nothing LegalShield. And he's gotten a lot of he's moving now with a lot of appointments and a lot of he's getting a lot of traction because he's dripping and sharing informative information, and it's not LegalShield. So if that's a tip for us on here on this call. So over to you, Dunbar.
Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so what's interesting is speaking with Edward earlier, we talked for about 30 minutes on the phone, and what you said about doing some research and talking to them about, because she needed to be educated. What John Hoffman said as well about those are things that we talked about, and this is just why it's so important to understand why it's important to pull companies. For me, it's just a logical thing. Why would you go speak to anybody without knowing anything about them and assuming that you're just going to close the deal with no information but the information that we have as LegalShield associates that know what our product does? Can you do it? Yeah, you can pretty much do anything. But do you want to do things hard or do you want to do things easy? And that's always the question you have to ask yourself. What's so important about what you said, and all the trainers said something important, but the point I'm touching on is that when that person said the drivers handle the tickets themselves, that was the perfect time for us to talk about why they need us. So really, even though that may seem like something that would be, oh my God, I got stuck, what do I say now? That is the perfect invite for the conversation of what we do. Because the point of us coming in is because, yeah, the drivers do handle their tickets on their own. That's the problem. The problem is when they handle it incorrectly, it affects your safety score for 2 years and theirs for 3. So this is exactly why you need us in there. So if that young lady would have said to me that same thing, hey, you know what? The driver syndicated tickets, I would have said, hey, because I pulled the company first. So I already know the challenges that they're having. So when I pulled that company and saw that they had 3 tickets for drivers doing 15 miles over the speed limit in the last 4 months, that may be my target. So I know that already. So when that safety manager says to me, oh, the drivers take care of the tickets. Oh, no, they handle their own tickets. I'll say, hey, let me ask you a question real quick. I saw that a couple of your drivers got a ticket for more than 15 miles over the speed limit. Did they have an attorney handle that situation? And if that safety manager says, well, I don't know, because they handle that themselves. That's why I was letting you know that we don't even get involved in that. That's their ticket. I would say, you know what, with all due respect, I appreciate you letting them handle it, because the way we feel at our company is it's their CDL. So they need to make sure that they're protecting their own CDL. But because what happens to them happens to you, I would tell you that it's important to make sure that they're handling those situations with the best attorney they can. So let me give you an example of how quantitatively this is important. If you guys received 4 violations in a 4-month period of 15 miles over the speed limit, let's just say our attorneys would have knocked that down to 11 to 14 miles over the speed limit. That would reduce the damage. But that's times 4. For that driver, it's just for them. But for your company, it's times 4. That's 4 different violations that have been knocked down, reduced. And let's say we beat one of them. If we'd have beat 1 and reduced 3, that would weigh significantly positively for you all, as opposed to just letting that driver do whatever they were going to do, not do anything at all, fight it with a bad attorney, use a regular traffic ticket attorney, and not got a good result. That's affecting you. Even if you fire them, it's affecting you. Our job is to protect your company and make sure that you don't get an audit because your safety score gets bad. And your safety score can only get bad when the drivers get citations and violations. So that's why, even though it's important for them to handle their own situations, we want you to arm them with an attorney to do that, because they can protect their score by protecting their score, but they're going to pay for the attorney, not you. Is that something that you're interested in hearing more about?
And also, Dunbar, you just made a good point, because so did you research the company on Safer?
Yes.
So did they have what we consider a high scores?
Yes, they had some things going on. That's how I research and see what you have. So she had some things going on. That's why I asked, should I be able to turn around and go back and pick her up at a later time?
Yeah, because this is what, like Dunbar just said. He said something huge, and that's what you're not an attorney, and no, we're not attorneys. Okay, but just say if it was 415 over on the report, and you don't see where it was changed to a lesser charge. My conversation to her was, I understand, ma'am, that those drivers, they you have your drivers to handle those citations, but like Dunbar say, ask her, do you know that if any of those use an attorney? And if she says no, I would have said, well, you know what? Let me, I don't know if you really understand, and I can't remember because I'm not going to have the safety report. Well, if I'm on the phone, I can have it there. I said, well, when I look at your report, I see that it was in the same truck. It was the same driver. Have you pulled that driver's driving record recently? Because, those are serious violations. And, sometimes it takes 30 to 45 days for that driver to get that paperwork to know that his license is suspended. Because, did you know, ma'am, that if he got 2 serious violations, in a 3-year period, his license would get suspended. You know what I'm saying? So that's like Dunbar said, just looking at that report, analyzing what is going on with her company, is your conversation with her? And like, I don't know how new you are, but that's the conversation, ma'am. Looking at it's staple to her company. Like, it's no broad thing. It's what you done read on that report to have a better conversation with her. Like Dunbar said, pulling out those things that's going on. So I know Mr. Dunbar going to help you with that when you follow up, right, Mr. Dunbar?
Absolutely.
So
I sure is.
yeah. So, but that's the thing though, Edward. Knowing that they got bad scores and going and looking to see what some of those scores, some of those violations are. The ultimate goal is definitely setting the appointment, but have a conversation with her so you can get her to the appointment. Because she feels she good because they taking care of it. No, you're not good. That's why I'm calling. I see your numbers. So let me educate you, ma'am, because I see that, on August 25th, your company actually accumulated about 60 points right there on that one stop. But about 2 days later, you came back and another driver brought about 50 points. And ma'am, all these are going against your company as well as your drivers. And then you'll find out that she really doesn't know a whole lot. So I hope that helps.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. Good stuff. Good stuff. So I hopefully that was helpful to you, Edward. You were able to get something out of us discussing how you should have handled that appointment. So and then we'll follow back up with them. I'll get back on the phone with you and we'll follow back up with that young lady as the other company as well that we called out to today. So appreciate you, brother.
Thank you.
Yes, yes. And if somebody can put safer in the chat, somebody was asking about where you pull companies. So if somebody can drop safer in there.
Robert, it's
already done already?
Uh-huh.
Oh, okay, great. Thank you. Appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
So Bob Frazier, are you available?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm here.
Hey, brother, how you good?
I'm good. I'm just sitting back here with my chest poked out and just smiling and grinning because the same answers y'all gave Mr. Singleton, he called me that about, and I gave him the same thing. And I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't been on this call, because this call is awesome. And that's where I got it from, right from you guys. You guys are awesome. And I was able to pass that same information to him. So I've got my chest spoke out because I didn't give him no bad information.
Oh, that's good, brother. I appreciate that. And if you don't mind, real quick, Bob Frazier, because you make calls. You're a person that makes calls, and I know you're you call outside of the state. You're doing some things. So give us, kind of talk to us a minute about some things that you're doing, which you're running into when you're making calls, because we want to be current. And I know Sherranda Ivey's really big on what are we doing right now today. We understand what CDLP is. We understand the certification training and the different tactics and things we have in place. But right now we're in a different time. We're in a different place with this pandemic. What should people be doing right now, like today, tomorrow, when it comes to prospecting these companies? Because I know that you're calling and the other trainers are jumping in and say some things as well.
Well, what they should be doing is go out there like Miss Holiday been doing. Write down some D.O.T. numbers and stick them into the SMS and safe it, and come up with, you're gonna get a lot of truckers out there from different states. And I've been all over the place. Me and Mr. Dunbar did a DM meeting last week, about 8 days ago, from a company that's out of Louisiana. I just did one a few days ago out of the state of Mississippi. And I made a call today to a company in Texas. And so I got an appointment set up with them. So write down the D.O.T. You're going to pass trucks every day. You don't have to go into a truck stop or go to a rest area. You pass trucks there every day through just driving down, the city limits. Write down their D.O.T. numbers. Start doing some, check on them. you have to do your research on it. There's no doubt about it. I do extensive research on them, and I write down them and put it on a spreadsheet, and I go from there, and I just start dialing. And I'll dial for, well, after I do my paperwork, I'll start just dialing for about a couple hours. Then I'll stop and go back and, I do a highlighted color coding thing onto my spreadsheet and contact them. Then I get appointments set. Then I hit up Mr. Dunbar. I don't call him. I text him because he ain't gonna answer the call. I text him, see is he available, and he'll call me right back, and we get going. But you got to do due diligence, do your research, pay attention to everything that these trainers are telling you on these calls, because it works and it's great information. I mean, the knowledge is there amongst these guys here, Mr. Randy, Ms. Sherranda, Mr. Dunbar, Mr. Hoffman, Mr. Lamar. I mean, the knowledge is there. They're giving us this information on a silver platter, so to speak. And what we do with it, it's up to us. If we take it and use it as its intent for us, we can do whatever we want to do. And I'm not afraid to pick up that phone and call. And you can tell me no all day long. I'm still going to die.
That's amazing.
Back to you, sir.
All right. Any other trainers want to jump in on anything before we close out? It's 9:25. I just wanted people to just hear some more stuff on what they need to be doing. Just now, with the pandemic and because these transportation companies, man, they're running. So if you're in this space, this pandemic really shouldn't be affecting you. It may only be affecting the fact that you're calling instead of walking.
Going on collecting D.O.T. numbers is ideal. That's what I do. So I would suggest getting one of these things, a digital voice recorder, if you can see that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, because if you use your phone to record numbers, that's a ticket. If you use a digital recorder, I got pulled over by the police one day and he said that's not against the law. So you get a digital recorder to record D.O.T. numbers, and then at your slow time in your office, just write them all down and do the research on them. And look for the companies that need our help right away, and the companies that don't need our help, give them a call and say we want to help keep your rates low. So there's always one reason to call one, whether it's one end or the other.
Yeah, and that's good. And I'll give a shout out, Dunbar, to the people on the accountability call. Miss Holiday's doing really good. She's being creative. She's traveling from state to state, and she's just pulling numbers. And Clarence is making the dials. He's going out, but he's setting appointments. But like I said, with his dials, if they say send him something, he doesn't send him LegalShield stuff. He's sending that stuff that Randy's putting in the Facebook page. So, kudos to Randy. If you guys aren't using that, he takes the time to, create those, pull those. I mean, but, one thing I learned is that, to learn this industry, I mean, we love you guys coming to the call. I mean, I showed up too every week, but I did things outside of the call because you got to just start to learn the industry. And so, you got all these free sites that'll send you information and keep you up to share with the people. But Randy is so helpful. He just drops it in there. He makes it edible. You can just change his name and put your information. And when the people, because a lot of people, I used to struggle too, thinking, what should I send them? Right? What should I send them? But, just sending that flyer and say, hey, I thought this would be great for you. This is what's going on. Because especially with the smaller companies, these guys aren't keeping up with that. Because they're in the truck, they're doing everything. And if you can be that contact for them, it'll pay off for you in the long run. But I just want to shout out the people on the accountability call, those individuals, they show up every week. They having some dialogue with each other. You saw Clarence, he hit senior manager. He works with, that group of Ohio people. He got a partner, a young lady that, they work together. Sharon, she's doing great things. Bob Frazier, he's done. Bob is not afraid to ask for a referral from another state. People calling him, giving him DOT numbers. That's powerful there, you know. So, but a lot of people on that call, Daryl's on here. I see him. Jerice is, she makes dials too. She makes dials. She works from home, but she makes dials between time. And now she has people calling her back. I think she even recruited in the space, from a driver. So, it's a matter of just doing what you do. I see you, Tyson. Tyson is writing plans. Where's I got my thing in the way, but Barbara Smith is on here. Barbara Smith is using the DM presentations, right? That corporate set up. She had a gentleman that she talked to on the Blitz, invited him the next day, which was the first Wednesday, the 9th, last week, and got that dude on the DM, and he loved everything. He loved that 9-minute presentation that Alan Roman did on CDLP. 9 minutes, that's all it is, 9 minutes. But the guy got on, Barbara talked to him on the Blitz, he got on the next day, and she was following up with him that evening. So I'm looking forward to hearing what that was like for her. But corporate is setting it up for her. So, you got people that's putting in some activity, using the resources and tools and the information that's being shared here. So, I mean, I might have not called you out, but the accountability call is that mastermind group is really, we're just moving into space, I've been going to a new hire orientation for the month of November. Only time I go out of the house, and I'm doing it for a field trainer person. I don't even go to my new hires. They send me the list. But anyway, it's been a month, almost 2 months now, but it's starting to pan out. So we have to be patient. But again, like Dunbar said, this space is moving. It's an essential worker, like John said, they're essential workers. And when your stores get empty, know that freight is going to pick back up because they got to get it to them. So that's me. So, I'm done. Over to you guys.
Yeah, can I interject there for a second there?
Yeah.
What I've been doing for the companies that say no, they're not interested, I asked them if I can send them some information. And what I did, you guys posted back here a while ago about the clearinghouse. But that then came up again. And in order for people, companies and their drivers to be in compliance by January the 6th, 2021, there's a whole lot of information there. So I've been sending that out to them, and I had one company that responded back to them, give them a call on Wednesday. So that might be some things that you can send out there. It's the Drug Alcohol Clearinghouse.
Yeah, that's good. And like I say, Randy puts, Randy we don't even have to think. I mean, we're not using you like that, Randy, but thank you though. But I mean, you don't have to think. You just go out to the page, and it could be some old stuff, right? Like the Blitz, the follow-up from the Blitz. People might be still suffering from stuff like that though. So just any excuse to have some dialogue, I think is good, honestly. So good stuff, Bob. Over to you, Randy, Dunbar, y'all still there?
Hey, I have
Oh yeah.
a question.
Go ahead, Sharon.
It's for the trainers. I had an associate to call me today, and I know we just got a moment to talk. And she had a guy that receives a couple of citations on his record. I did not know he was a member until we did the 3-way call with him, because I wanted to pull the D.O.T. number to see what his scores look like. For any new people that's on the call, can the trainers expound on when the drivers get a citation and it comes with those violations, what the points mean for that driver? If you all didn't discuss it before I got on at 9:45, please.
So did you pull the driver's record, or you just pulled the SAFER report?
The SAFER report, but he works for Warner.
The SAFER report doesn't show the driver's numbers.
Right. He works for Warner, but it was too many of them. But I wanted to see what his what's that? License plate ticket showed of what he had. But then when I found out, when I did the three-way call with that particular associate, I told her just go ahead and call Riggs Abney and let them see if they could data queue it for him, because he got the citations first and then he got the membership.
Well, nobody fought it. So data queue works when you've been to court. You know, that's when you hear, when you go into a company and you might have a company say, oh yeah, data queue don't work. I tried that. That doesn't work. It doesn't work because they didn't go to court to fight it and get a positive outcome. If every now and then you get a company that data queue something and it falls off, but it doesn't always work that way. And if it's already on there, it's not gonna work. Riggs and Abney, that's not gonna do anything. Go ahead, Randy.
Sharon, did you say that he fought the ticket and got it changed?
No, he just received the tickets. And then I didn't know that he was an associate. I'm sorry, that he was a member less than the 10 days ago.
Okay.
Because he got the plan after the fact.
Okay, they will, if it has not gone through court, if it has not been adjudicated, Riggs Abney will still fight it, but it'll be under the 25% discount.
And that's what I told the associate. I just wanted to have that clarity on the wall.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
If it's been adjudicated, there's nothing that can be done. If it hasn't been adjudicated, they will still fight it if they buy the membership at a 25% discount.
And that's what I told her. I said that dollar amount will be between him and the law firm. And so if he want to get his record cleared or assistance by the law firm, not record cleared, excuse me, that he would have to go that route. So, but the point was, she didn't tell me he had the membership.
Well, here's the thing.
Way.
The citations and violations that a driver gets, if they don't use us or someone in the court system, 100% of those citations and violations are going on their record. So they have a better chance fighting the situation and it not going on, especially multiplied times 3. So, yeah.
Right. Okay. Thank you for that.